Here's another equation problem, a worded equation problem, and that's the classic sort of work out the ages, of the two people involved. So the sum of the ages of a mother and her son is 50. In 8 years' time, the mother will be 6 less than 3 times her son's age. Find their current ages. This question's actually quite an easy one. And in fact, once we scratch sort of beneath the surface, you realise that it's actually quite basic. What makes it difficult is really just understanding the terminology, the words, and I guess the grammar that's involved here. Okay, so let's just break it down one step at a time. Let's read the first line. The sum of the ages of a mother and her son is 50. Okay, this is what we're trying to find, the ages of these two people, because it says find their current ages. Okay, so this is where we're going to translate the text, okay, the English text, into the language of algebra. And that's what algebra is in mathematics. It's a language. It's a bunch of symbols that we can use to represent some logical statement, okay, some relationship. So I think it's quite, appropriate that we can use the pronumeral M to represent the mother's age, and S to represent the son's age. Okay, so M plus S is equal to 50. Okay, and I think we can agree that this part of the question, okay, can be represented using this line of algebra here. Okay, two different pronumerals, one equation. There's infinite solutions. Well, we need something else, another equation, to be able to narrow down the solution to just one possibility. Okay, so it says in 8 years' time, the mother will be 6 less than 3 times her son's age. So in 8 years' time, how old would the mother be? If the mother's current age is M years, add on 8. In 8 years' time, you're going to be 8 years older. You're going to add on another 8 years. So in other words, the mother will be M plus 8 years old in 8 years' time. And I think it makes sense, okay? So whatever your age is, if you add 8 to that, that's what your age will be in 8 years' time. So it's, again, something that's fairly logical, okay? What I might do is I might just write it maybe underneath here. So, all right, M plus 8 is equal to, just to line up the equal signs. So in 8 years' time, the mother will be 6 less than 3 times her son's age. We've actually got to read this sentence backwards. We need to find 3 times her son's age, and that's in 8 years' time too. And then we need to subtract 6 from that. Okay, 6 less than 3 times her son's age. Well, what's her son's age in 8 years' time? Her son's age is going to be whatever her son is, whatever the son's age is, which is S years old. Okay, and we need 3 times that, and then we need to subtract 6 from that. So can you see, I guess, the order and the sequence in which I'm building the algebra? The algebra is like Lego, I guess. It's a building block. The first thing I think of is, okay, well, in 8 years' time, the son is going to be S plus 8 years old. The mother will be, in that time, will be 3 times her son's age. So whatever S plus 8 is, we're going to triple that, okay, 3 times, and then subtract 6 from that. So this is where most of the work is in this question. Once you get to this point here, once you get to these two equations, right, equation 1 and equation 2, once you get to those two, the rest of it's fairly plain sailing, okay? So in fact, we can use equation 1 to make one of the pronumerals the subject of the formula, to eliminate that pronumeral in equation 2. So it becomes what we call a simultaneous equation. We'll cover that later on, okay, in another video, not yet. But just for the time being, okay, it's a simultaneous equation because both of these equations have to be solved at the same time. Right, from equation 1, what we're going to do is we're going to basically make one of the pronumerals the subject of the formula, so we can knock that pronumeral out in equation 2. We'll have then one equation with one type of pronumeral, one letter, in other words, one type of symbol. So from 1, I don't know, why don't we maybe make M the subject, okay? So it doesn't really matter, in fact. There's no hard and fast rule as to which one you make the subject, okay? So if you want to make M the subject of the formula, M is just 50 minus S. Now what we're going to do is we're going to substitute that for M in equation number 2, okay? Okay, so just a little bit of commentary there. All right, so from 2. Right, now m plus 8. We're going to replace the m with the equivalent in terms of s. So what's the same as m? What's equivalent to m? 50 minus s, isn't it? Right. So rather than writing m, I'm going to write 50 minus s plus 8. Okay, so 50 minus s is the same as m. Okay, it's the same as this. Is equal to 3 outside of s plus 8 minus 6. Now we have one equation in one type of pronumeral, the s. There's no m anymore. That is solvable. Okay, it's insolvable to one solution that we can get, hopefully one valid solution from that. Okay, let's clean it up a little bit. 50 plus 8 is 58 minus s. Write your s's, I think, neat and tidy, please, because sometimes if you don't do this neat, the s will look like a number 5 or a numeral 5. Let's expand the brackets here. So we've got 3s plus 24 minus 6. Okay, so 58 minus s is equal to 3s plus 24 minus 6 is positive 18. Okay, so let's maybe we'll put the s's on the right hand side just to keep it sort of positive. Okay, so let's add s to, let's move the negative s over, so it becomes 4s here. Okay, and we'll move the positive 18 over to the other side. So to the left hand side, we'll subtract 18 from 58, and that'll become 40. Therefore, the son is 10 years old. Okay, so if the son is 10 years old, the mother is 40. And that's it.